I was an extra in the James Bond film Goldeneye, 1995, as a soldier. Hello Reddit, my name is Gary Raleigh, I live in London and currently work as a manager in a furniture store. Before all that, I took a small career into acting since it was a dream for me when I was young and gullible. I have only took acting as an extra in 2 movies though, which were Tom and Vivid, of course Goldeneye. The only scenes however I filmed in the movie were the chemical plant and the archives as a Soviet soldier attempting to eliminate the protagonist. My son who watches the Bond movies wanted me to make this so I can give my input since I already told him everything about filming in the famous movie, but he now wishes for me to answer anything you all might have. So lay it on me lads.
Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe to be the first to know about new videos. Comment your answer below.
Do you consider yourself a good or bad manager? I am the bloody best at procrastinating, but I do enough work to earn that coin. Lol, this is exactly how I would describe myself as a restaurant manager. What was the pay like? So for the 2 or 3 days of filming on the gunfight in the interior of the chemical plant I made around £150, and filming at the archives came to £200 since it took much longer to shoot there than the chemical plant, as that had more stunts and blanks to be fired as well as your close-ups. ISO pound to American translator. This man got around $600 to $700 for 2 days of work, said one was 16 hours. Gonna assume 24 to 28 hours total for his math. $25 to $30 an hour 20 plus years ago. Those estimates are rougher than Gordon Ramsay's edges, but you get the point. Favorite Bond movie and actor? Did you meet Pierce? Wow, that was fast. My favorite Bond, I have to say, which surprises some, is Timothy Dalton, since I felt his personality is more drawn to Bond's personality in the books. Favorite Bond movie though would be The Spy Who Loved Me because of the large set pieces, action pieces, and of course Jaws. He's the bloody best. As for ever meeting Pierce in person, I have not, since he was always so in tune and intertwined with Martin and the choreographers, and while a few cheeky extras did try to go up and talk to him, he was still humble and approachable but was always too busy to have a conversation longer than 60 seconds. Thanks for answering. License to Kill is so underrated emo. So violent for Bond, which I like. How many clips did you film? If I can remember 20 years ago how filming went, we filmed about over 20 different clips of angles the cinematographers felt would be the best in the scene at the gas tanks. It lasted about 2 days filming there, with longest day being 16 hours. Each time they have these shots go, they would sometimes even rearrange us in different spots trying to get the best shot. Wow, did you enjoy the filming process? At times it could get real boring. A lot of sitting around and waiting can happen, while rehearsals can also take a majority of time, even deciding who gets the blank guns and who gets the rubber guns. I always wanted the rubber gun cause that meant you would get shot and would have to die on screen, which means a chance of getting to see it on film. I got one of those scenes on film in the archives portion. I always wanted the rubber gun cause that meant you would get shot and would have to die on screen. I don't follow. Extras with blank guns don't get shot? They usually don't, because you can't have an extra get shot up and throw a 800-pound gun on the floor through like 3 or 4 takes. I don't know how most blank guns were made, but these I know can be a little fragile, so the prop department made sure that all the AKs would take little damage as possible. Even after cutting a scene, the prop department lads would take all the blank guns from the extras, dismantle them and clean them, and even load the blanks themselves. They did a good job making it look like that all the guns were being fired with full auto though in the movie, cause in reality the clips were only loaded with like 3 or 4 blanks, and we were told to shoot at an interval to make it look like it was going off in an automatic fashion. Only person that got to fire off the guns in full auto with about 20 blanks in the clip was of course the main actor. Probably for weapon safety. Hollywood keeps things wired tight when it comes to functioning weapons on set. What was your family's reaction when you first told them you were going to be in a Bond film? My mom first asked me if I was gonna be the main villain, which I told her no, but I would technically be one of the bad guys, and I promised her she will see me at least once. She didn't like it when my character got shot up though, ha. Besides that, my father practically told everyone at his workplace and went on about it for weeks. I met my wife in '97 and had a child that same year. But my son didn't first see the movie until like 2009, and we watched the movie at least once a year now as a family. I love this, thank you so much. I always wanted to be in a Bond film, regardless of which side. Let's be real though, the bad guys were for the most part pretty cool. Did your character survive his Bond encounter? So funny thing is that my character was killed, resurrected and killed again in the archives. The first one he was killed when all those barrels came crashing down and promptly the building exploding later in the scene. The barrels that fell were made of rubber, by the way. My son always thought it was real metal and they just had stuntmen at the bottom, and in the archives I was the soldier on the right that Bond shoots at below on the second jump take from the first salvo of rounds he fires at the previous troops. I was gonna ask what the barrels were made of. I thought maybe a thin aluminium so they wouldn't be too heavy. Now I know the truth. What was it like on set on Goldeneye? Was it like a normal walk place with water cooler talk, and could you somehow show yourself in one of the clips? The moments when we had to pay attention to what we had to do in order not to spoil the shot was when we had to buckle down and listen to what the director, stunt choreographer wanted us to do. Besides that, when we had to wait for them to set the scene up, a lot of guys would indeed go out the back of the studio outside to take smoke and tea breaks and indeed have talks over random stuff. It was very professional work but also relaxed to work around an action movie. I really enjoyed it, and if I find myself in the scene, which won't be too hard, I'll throw it in the Reddit. 3 questions. 1. How old were you when you were part of the movie? 2. Why did you stop acting? 3. How much you earn being the manager of a furniture store? Good questions. 1. I was 25 years old when filming started. I was officially accepted into a role around early December of '94 and started my scenes early February of '95. 2. I've hit that point of my life where I was young, and I always wanted to be an actor, and after those 2 movies I have done it. Not sure how common people might have this, but when I finally got to be what I wanted to be, I simply didn't want to do it no more. Not that I didn't like it or that it didn't pay the bills, it's just that I simply was satisfied that I got to make my dream a real thing and I was ready to move on from it. 3. I make about £40,000 a year, but I live in London so it can get expensive. I love the answer to number 2. It's so satisfying to read. I can only imagine the joy you felt when you sat down and thought, wow, I did it. I'm in a movie.
You have been visited by Sad Cat. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to make Sad Cat happy again.